listening to the Ecosystem Approach show. I'm Jason.
And I'm Patricia. Tune in every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific Time and 4 p.m. Eastern Time on Transformation Talk Radio.
We discovered that human potential is severely limited when you program humans like a machine, which is standard practice today for self-improvement.
The Ecosystem Approach teaches you how to uncover your infinite potential by using natural methods that are truly revolutionary. Join us now for the Ecosystem Approach show.
I love to cook. There is so much in the media these days about cooking, recipes, and finding healthy ingredients, but we've never seen anyone talk about the importance of using subtle energies while cooking. In fact, today we're going to talk about how to use energies to help overcome the problem when food is not the healthiest, or using ingredients that are not using that you're not using by necessity,
Or that you're using by
that you're using.
So when you're eating junk,
clean out the
yeah.
As intuitives, we see the energy you can eat with can be more important than the nutrients you are using. This will be a fascinating show. Stay tuned. We are married intuitives with over 25 years experience who created the Ecosystem Approach. This is a groundbreaking way to see yourself in this age of Aquarius. We help you unleash healing and potential that is unknown today and is totally unique to you personally. I like that part personally, by the way. I thought I mentioned that. This is not your typical type of energy work. We help you with life-changing internal discovery that is powerful, rational, practical, and useful for everyday life. Jason, this is pretty radical stuff. Are we going to offend or offer perspectives that disagree with common belief?
Probably. Yeah. And I want to review that. Our objective is always for you to see these things for yourself.
Yes.
Not to come to us, not to make us elevate us as your guru.
Right.
But a lot of times we see these things so that you can be on the lookout.
Mm-hmm.
Or say, oh, I'm going to try that and see if it works.
Or feel like a little tap on your shoulder and basically say, hey, have you thought about it this way?
Exactly.
Okay.
And our clients are always telling us that,
yes.
I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, it might be one of those common things we hear.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I never ask anybody to rely on what we say,
Mm-hmm.
but as you use the ecosystem approach, your intuition and ability to connect with your essence to get to know,
Mm-hmm.
to know what you need to know in the world gets better every day.
Love that.
So let's start, okay? We see that the energy that you eat, in other words, your mood and the moods of those around you,
correct,
or the energy of your food, the energy from your food,
right,
is as important and often more important than the actual food and the nutritional value. Now, I know there's some people that are just either flopping around the floor or saying, oh my gosh, turn that guy off, but let me explain.
Good. And it's worthy of listening to regarding those of you who are flopping around on the floor.
Yeah, even if you're pissed off.
Yeah, exactly. It's worthy of it. Go ahead.
So when we eat, we're taking in nutrition.
That's correct.
But it's not black and white. And this is so clear to us. And it's not just, this isn't just unique to us.
No.
When you go to the hospital, they give you a drug, but people don't respond the same way all the time.
Exactly.
And they do statistics with all those things. But, I know that whenever we've had medical interactions with Patricia, your reactions are never according to what they expect.
Never.
Yes. So
but wait a minute. Instead of me being like either embarrassed about that or thinking that oh my gosh, I'm not normal. Well, there is that part. But the point that I'm getting at is that all of us are unique. And one of the things about this show that I think is so amazing is how when we can understand our own uniqueness. And by the way, the easiest way to do that is using the ecosystem approach. but our uniqueness with food, because not everybody can take in not only the same amount of food as everybody else, but also the same nutrition from the same food.
or process it in the same way, or
Process,
you know,
exactly.
and so
That's exactly right.
so let's talk some more about that. I mean,
Okay.
the whole idea of, and I didn't even put this in there, but it's I think it's really important.
Okay.
Homeopathy.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Homeopathy is based on this whole, there's years and years of information about homeopathy, and it's
Yes.
not well accepted by the traditional medical community
At all.
but it's based on this idea that you can give someone um, the hint of a compound,
Mhm.
but it still contains the energy of that compound,
That's correct.
and that energy will affect you in the way that
Correct.
the practitioner wants to.
Yes.
So it's not the amount, it's actually the energy of it. And so that's what we're doing right here. We're
Right.
saying, okay, let's make sure that the energy that you eat your food with is the best energy for you.
And in every single thing that you eat.
Right.
And by the way, this takes a little time to incorporate, because you think that it's way too much to do all this that we're going to be talking about throughout the whole show. But after I've been doing this definitely for more than 20 years, I want everyone to understand it's not, in fact, using this, the understanding of what's in my best interest to eat is not the same as Jason's best interest to eat.
And we found this over and over again. But
Yes,
so it's not black and white. So when you're eating something and you're in a bad mood,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
feeling hopeless, like oh, my life sucks. I'm not
Yeah.
nothing is going well for me.
Correct.
It's, you can have the healthiest salad in front of you, or the healthiest piece of nutrition, you know, protein, whatever, in front of you,
Correct.
and you probably won't absorb
Even half
the
nutrients.
yes. And it's, I don't want to give amounts, but yes, you're being um you're saying over half, but that's
No.
we don't know that for a fact.
No,
all
exactly.
you know, all we know that it affects it.
Yes.
And so in this particular situation, we can't see because we don't know that particular situation.
Correct.
Also, if you have the healthiest plate of food in front of you and you're arguing with your partner at the time, I guarantee you a lot of that health is going to be wasted.
Right.
You know,
Right.
blood sugar and diabetes. This is something I know about. You know, they talk about all these things that you should eat to naturally overcome type 2 diabetes. And I've always had problems with my blood sugar in the recent, and um, um, I've been working on the nutrition, but I keep looking at what I'm eating is exactly what I should be
That
eating,
is correct.
but I know that there's something else there.
Exactly.
And that something else is what's going to make the difference for me. And it's not
whether you're getting those nutrients,
right.
Enough of those nutrients or not,
Right.
in what you're eating.
Well,
Just wanted to clarify.
It's not about the nutrients for the type 2 diabetes. It's about the blocks, the negative energy blocks that
Correct.
you have attached to you, which of course you can uncover using the ecosystem
There you
approach.
go.
And when you uncover those things, that's when things start to happen.
Exactly.
There's also this idea about being bioavailable. Now, if you've heard this before, it's the idea that when you take in supplements, for example, the ones that are the best for you are the ones that are what's called bioavailable, which means that it's the most natural, and it's the most healthy, and it's the easiest for your body to take those nutrients.
Correct.
and put them into your body. Well, I'm sure that's there's truth to that, but there's also what's your energy in the moment, whether you're fighting, whether you're with someone who's chronically depressed, whether you feel bad about yourself, whether you don't believe it's going to work when you take this supplement.
Right.
All those things affect how much those nutrients affect you.
Right.
And we're going to talk about what you can do at the last segment, but this is a really, really big deal.
Yes.
So is there anything that you wanted to say about this?
Well, in other words, I'll say it Patricia way.
Sure.
Your attitude in which
Don't you always?
Yeah. Your attitude in which you're eating, your attitude in which you're even being, makes an entire difference to how your body takes nutrients in and uses it to your best ability. If you are hating yourself,
Right.
I guarantee you, it won't, you're not going to get what you need.
And I want to say this because whenever we say this, people misinterpret it
Okay.
because it's out there. When we say it's your attitude, a lot of people say, well, I'll just shift my attitude. That's not what we're saying. The ecosystem approach is not about forcing yourself to feel a certain way.
No,
It's about evaluating what the negative energy that's in your way,
or the attitude that's in your way.
right, and clearing it
Correct.
energetically, so that the good part of you, your essence, can come forward.
Exactly.
And it happens naturally. You don't have to have a good attitude.
Well, you have a pretty good story in the and you have a couple of good stories in the
Next segment. Oh yeah,
you know,
yes.
But the bottom line is that and by the way, you are what you eat. There's a piece missing there. That's a saying from the 70s. Is that what that was? I think it was right around there.
You were the hippie more than I was, so I don't know, but
anyway, the bottom line is that you are what you eat is only a half truth. That's the part that I want to
make it more true. You are the energy that you eat.
That is correct.
Oh, that's what makes it alive. So
exactly. So Jason, what is the summary of this section?
Subtle energies are the huge X factor regarding nutrition and your body's ability to absorb nutrients from your meals. It is not a mechanical process that happens the same way, no matter what the circumstances. Your moods, the way you feel overall, and when you eat makes a huge difference in how you take in nutrition. We see that energy you eat is more important than the actual nutrients present in the food. And the energy of the environment can also affect the quality of the nutritional absorption. Also, the bioavailability of nutrients and supplements is hugely affected by the energy attached to the person and the energy in the situation.
That is correct. In the next segment, we're going to talk about cooking with love and how to put positive energy into your food, especially when its nutritional value, well, is not the best. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to talk about cooking with love and how to put positive energy into your food, especially when its nutritional value is not the best. And I want to make note that right now, grocery prices are the highest they have been that I have ever known. And so when you can't afford to buy the nutritional best, this is an amazing process that we use using the ecosystem approach to make things the best that they can be for you. Yeah. So, Jason, we know about cooking with love, but I'm really curious about putting positive energy into food when it's not of the highest nutritional value.
Okay, so you can put positive energy into your food, and that can affect how the nutrients are absorbed, and even whether certain nutrients are blocked and some are not. And we never get that specific. Energy doesn't like to be micromanaged that way. But at the very least, it's a complex process that is affected by many factors that you can overcome using by creating positive energy for your food with your own intention.
Exactly.
It's that simple. You don't have to say, well, I'm going to make sure I bring out the calcium in this food.
I need calcium.
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a woman over 50. I need more calcium. Things like that.
And just so you know, if you're concerned about your bone density, for example,
correct, that's a good one.
The question is, using the ecosystem approach, is what's keeping you from standing up for yourself
and standing strong
in the world?
Yes,
that would make your bones be more strong.
Correct.
So and then you clear what's in your way, and that's how that comes about. So anyways,
go ahead.
So negative energy from food, from the cook, so this is how negative energy gets into your food. From the cook, from the people who pick it, package it, or ship it.
In the soil.
Yep. In the soil.
Yes.
It also comes from others who you eat with. Are they depressed?
Yeah.
Are they hopeless? Are they angry, bitter? Are they
Yep.
feeling abused?
Hmm.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
all those things. And if you
In-
feel overwhelmed by that and say, I can't manage all that stuff, we're not asking you to manage it all,
Yes.
but we're just saying that those things can affect
And be a
your food.
factor in how you connect with the nutrients.
I think the best example, and this is a TV reference, okay,
Okay.
but Gilmore Girls and Lorelai Gilmore.
By the way, it was a series back in the
It was a long
early,
time ago.
early,
I think it's early 2000.
I think so too.
So, but she loved junk food, but she had these domineering parents that were very um, s- overbearing.
Overbearing,
That
yes.
and
And
they
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 have a
tried
lot
to
of money.
consume. Yeah,
Yes.
they had a lot of money. They were very wealthy, and they had even had a cook, but the mother abused all of her servants anyways.
Yes, she
Okay,
did, no matter who they were.
so even though the food was very healthy,
Mhm.
fresh fish, and
All of those things, yes.
you have to wonder how healthy it was. But Lorelai rebelled from the control of her parents by eating junk food,
Yes, she did.
and because it drove them nuts,
Mhm.
when she would eat those kind of things. And
Yes.
she was very righteous, almost not righteous, but she
Yeah.
was like, this is the way I eat, take it
Yeah,
or leave it.
exactly.
And then that's how she raised her daughter.
Yes.
But I can see that for her, because it helped establish who she was as a person,
Mhm.
there was a healthy energy connected with eating junk food
Because she
on her
was
behalf.
standing in her power.
Exactly.
And when you stand in your power, by the way, a lot of us, and especially women, don't exactly understand really what that feels like. But the bottom line is when you stand in your power, there's a strength of who you are and what you do, even in the moment and even in every day.
So we had another client who was very
Oh,
knowledgeable about
yes,
nutrition
yes.
and ate very well,
Mhm.
but her husband and her husband's family were just the opposite.
Yeah.
They would have like canned corn and canned peas and these casseroles that they made from
Yes.
less than positive ingredients. But she was so righteous about it. She was
Mhm.
so like, I won't eat that. I won't go to there. I'm going to bring my own food when I go over to their house, that sort of thing. It created this negative energy around, I know her husband felt like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do?
How am I going to explain
Yeah,
this to
how
her?
am I going to deal with this? How am I
Yeah.
going to, all those things.
Correct.
And so, you know, although she was trying to eat more healthy, that negative energy was diluting whatever health benefit
Exactly.
from the things that she ate,
Exactly.
and especially when she goes to someone else's house.
Right.
And um, we always work around. We try and eat gluten free mainly because of me,
Mm-hmm.
but and we try and avoid sugar and a lot of sweets.
Correct.
And we eat a lot of fresh
Fresh
vegetables,
vegetables, yes, and
yes,
fresh
and
fruit. Yeah.
and good quality protein sources. Okay,
Correct.
we get our eggs from a farmer, kind
Mhm.
of, and it works. We love it.
Actually, they're really good eggs.
Here's the thing that I've noticed though, is that we don't do it because of philosophy.
Yes.
We do it because the more energy we remove from our essence that's negative, the more the better we feel about having positive food in our life.
And
Healthy food.
the
We
ex
crave it. It's
exactly,
something
that's
that
exactly what I was
something
gonna
that
say.
happens now. Now, Patricia is a not only a great cook, but a great gardener. And we've
I
been
try.
developing our garden here since we've moved here. We've been here and we're going on 6 years.
Yeah.
We've had a garden probably like 4 or 5 of those years.
Sorta. Yeah.
And every year it gets a little bit better, and we're still working on it. And trying to keep the deer out is not an easy thing, because they love her good quality vegetables
Yeah.
also.
Yeah. Well, they just want to eat, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
They don't care whether they're quality or not. It's food.
but
Yes.
talk about cooking with love. I think that's a really important part.
It's, since I started using the ecosystem approach, by the way, I started really cooking when I was about 8 years old. In fact, I have to say this. My mother loved sugar whenever she could do sugar of any kind. Didn't matter day or night. she would do that. The very first thing that I learned to make, and I think that this is kind of interesting because it's a reference of how far I've come. I learned to cook, get this, C's, as in C's candy, C's caramels. And most people go, how did you manage that? Well,
Most people don't cook candy, or
most people don't.
they don't know how
It's
to do
very
that. Yeah.
difficult. But it was the first thing I learned to make. Very first thing I learned to make. So I learned about, exact not nutrients, but measurements and timing and all of those things. And by the way, it was a great education, but it taught me about sugar. Then I learned how to do a lot of baking, things like that. And then as the years went on, I really learned how to cook really good meat. And then I learned to cook vegetables. And notice vegetables were the last thing in my family. There was canned corn and canned
Yeah.
green beans.
Yeah.
That was it. That was it.
That was the
Basically,
vegetable. Yeah.
That was the vegetable.
But here's the point. Okay, go ahead.
The
Keep going.
point is that I had to learn how to change the energy in food, because as I started using the ecosystem approach, I could see that certain foods were not only in my best interest, but in the best interest of whoever I was feeding. And that made a huge difference. Now, you have a point?
Well, the point about all that was I was trying to make was that you cook with love because it's part of your love language.
It is part of my love language. And that's where I was going next.
Yeah, and the part is that you love to be creative in the kitchen, and
exactly.
she loves giving me the spoon and saying, "Hey, will you taste this? How does this taste?"
Yeah,
and
I do.
I'm actually pretty good at that. I can say, "Okay, well, it needs this, it needs that."
Exactly.
And so we have this really minor collaboration, but it's definitely a big part of our life that we have, especially in the evening. We have this great food, and it just and we try and create. We don't do it intentionally. It just happens because we're clearing all the time.
Yes, exactly.
That it's happy, it's fun,
exactly,
and people are enjoying it.
Well, and I need to make this comment. Yesterday, I really struggled with a part of my family, and this morning I woke up and I was really struggling with that. And as I was cooking breakfast, I realized I was not cooking with love. So I stopped for one second. I took a deep breath and I removed all the negative energies, not only from me, but the food that I was touching. And not only did he say to me this morning, "Hey, the breakfast is fantastic," but also his mother said the same thing to me. And I don't expect that. That's not what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is to make it good food, and food that their bodies really
because of all the clearing, it's a naturally satisfying thing.
It is.
And she never tries to, like, this idea of attitude of gratitude. She never tries to create that.
No.
It happens naturally after you remove the negative energy.
Exactly.
But here's the other thing.
Okay.
I remember way back in the beginning, we had a contract with a big company that was based in New York. So we were flying back and forth. And it was nice to, that's when it was nice working together. And it was very, very, very positive. But traveling, you don't eat good.
No,
it's hard to eat good food, even when you go to nicer restaurants, you don't know what you're getting. You don't know who's in the back there.
Right.
But adding that positive energy just makes a huge difference.
Exactly.
And if you the other thing is that, well, sometimes we get stuck on time, and all we have available, because we're kind of in a rural area, is fast food. Now we cheat. We haven't eaten at the regular McDonald's and fast food joints in years, literally years. It's hard. People don't believe that when we say that, but our go-to is Taco Bell. But we always put positive energy into that.
And by the way, his mother, you should see her eyes light up and she might be gonna be 94 in
March.
In March, and that girl can put some food in, and she's tiny. So
if you have to compromise on quality, if you're pressed for time, there's all sorts of reasons that you have to do it.
Exactly.
Do it and put into positive energy.
So we're running out of time, Jason. What's the summary of this segment?
It is possible to put in positive energy into your food, as it is important to have good energy while eating as good nutrition. Good nutrition can be completely sabotaged with negative or bad energy into the food or eating environment. When the cook loves cooking and creating meals, it can be put amazing energy into food and make it healthier. If you don't like to cook, putting positive energy into takeout can be as beneficial, and creating a happy environment is extremely healthy.
Right.
When compromises are necessary due to time and circumstances, you may have to accept less than the healthiest food, but it's even more important to put in positive energy into that food to make it healthy for you and your family.
Yes.
Food can be used to create health and well-being, especially putting positive energy to the food and the environment.
In the next segment, we're going to talk about what you can do to apply these ideas about energy. How can you incorporate them into your daily life to help you to be healthier and alive with your food? This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to talk about what you can do to apply these ideas regarding food with energy. How can you incorporate them into your daily life to help you be healthy and alive with your food? Okay, Jason, what can you do to apply these ideas about energy and food day to day for the audience? Explain it to
Well, I'm going to tell you a story. This was back way before I was doing this kind of work. I was actually I was a teenager, I think, and I had gotten a job at Dayton's, which is downtown Minneapolis. I grew up in Minnesota, and
by the way, Dayton's, it was a little higher class type Kohl's.
I think they're still related to Kohl's somehow. It was
Kohl's,
Kohl's, Lord and Taylor, that sort of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was very exclusive, and being the downtown store, it was the most exclusive. And that's kind of why I went there. But it was, I was one of my first jobs, and it was just go, 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 go. It was exhausting. It was very, very stressful. So for my lunch, I would always go around the corner to this coffee shop, and they had these old time, this really dates me, but these old time jukeboxes at the
table.
at the counter.
Oh, at the counter.
I would sit at the counter because I was just by myself, and I liked it that way.
Yeah.
I'm more introverted, so I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't want to,
Right.
I don't relax that way. I need to be by myself. And I would play Midnight Train to Georgia, and it would just, and it just kind of relaxed me. And I know now that really helped me have good nutrition with whatever I was eating, usually probably a burger or something like that,
Exactly.
So making sure your environment is really nice and conducive is a big deal. Now, I know some of you are saying, well, I live with, my spouse is chronically depressed. I mean, you can still clear at least yourself, so that you're feeling happier. Maybe you decide to eat in another room, or the proximity really doesn't matter. But just be aware of that when you're constantly with someone who's depressed, that energy is like, it's like a ball and chain.
And then you end up eating it. I'm going to add something here. I've been working with nutrition for a long time. I'm not perfect at it, but I've been working with it. And one of the things that I see is a lot of times we eat something that they've been told isn't good for them. But okay, that happens. But one of the things that they do is they'll pick up a piece of food and they'll put it in their mouth or begin to put it in their mouth. And as they're doing it, one of the first things they say is, "Oh, this isn't good for me," or "I'm going to pay for this one. Oh, I wonder how this is going to look in my with my jeans on," things like that.
That's an automatic way to create bad energy while you're taking that stuff.
You eat it. You end up eating it and taking it in.
Now, we used to do this as a kind of special little treat for ourselves.
Yes.
We'd go get frozen yogurt.
Oh, yeah.
And it was, now it's full of sugar. We don't do that anymore. But it was a nice treat because we were together. It was like a little happy picnic type of thing.
And it was a form of a ritual to us. We're treating ourselves today.
And it was a happy thing. And yes. I'm not, I know now that the frozen yogurt, in terms of the nutritional value, isn't the highest because it's loaded with sugar, that sort of thing. But I'm not sure it hurt us as much as people might say.
Right.
So So your environment is really important. So and when you're by yourself and you're eating,
Mhm.
the first thing I would do, and so I want to be very practical
Okay, please
in
do.
this segment. So the first thing I would do is check in with yourself and say, okay, I direct all my resources in all dimensions to eliminate any stress I'm feeling, any frustration, any anxiety, hopelessness, hurt, depression,
Right.
anger.
Mhm.
So whatever it is, check in with yourself and clear it.
Yes.
And if you don't feel anything, clear numbness. That's always something. So you'll be in a better mood and taking that food and get more nutrition.
Right. Well, and then the other thing, and we didn't exactly talk about this, but one of the things that after you've cleared yourself, remove negative energy, you want to take your hands. Let me see, here we go. You want to take your hands and you want to activate life force. And as if the camera isn't showing it, as if I have a plate of well, ice cream and spaghetti. and and what you want to do is you want to activate using life force energy to activate the nutritions that I need today in this food that I'm about to
So
consume.
imagine the energy is coming off of the palms of your hands
That's correct.
and going to the food. So hold it just above the food.
Exactly. Well, I
And
did it a little higher
yeah,
because of the
okay,
camera.
right. And
Yes.
just say and to activate um 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 life force is one
Yes.
thing, and or to remove the negative energy. Now, if you're doing restaurant food, if you're traveling, if you
Sure.
know it's not great stuff, but
Not the best. Yes.
you suspect it might not be,
Yeah.
you can clear also, and it would be something like this, and to eliminate any toxics, any chemicals, or anything that's not healthy for me in this food right now.
Exactly. And you're
And
going to
take
use
a
the
breath.
same thing.
Yeah.
The same thing. And one of the things
Well,
that I do is I'll grab a hold of that negative energy when I'm doing that, and I will throw it in my mind's eye into the processor. I'll grab a hold of it and throw it into the
so if
processor.
you're removing it, take your hand, the palm of your hand, and like you spread it across the top of it.
That's correct.
So like you're removing it,
That's
grabbing
correct.
it, imagine yourself grabbing it, hold of it.
Right.
And that
I think it's amazing.
it makes it feel, everything makes it feel better.
Well, and the other thing is that then we also are feeling, when we do things like this, we're feeling as if I'm in control of how I'm treating my body.
Yes.
And it's truly amazing.
It has a ripple effect.
It
It's really positive.
really does.
So for activating, have your palms down,
Yeah.
palms down,
There you go.
and for removing, just kind of sweep it across
Yeah.
the front,
Yeah.
and to eliminate, sweep it across the front, and
Correct.
say whatever you want to
Correct.
eliminate. We use sort of as a common thing, toxics, chemicals, or anything that's not healthy for me right now.
Exactly.
And
That's exactly
if you
right.
want some wording for this, you can go to our website right now and sign up for our free section, The Ecosystem Approach. You'll get the newsletter. It's all written out there for this week, especially. We're gonna do the clearings that are all written out there for
Yes.
how you can do that, and activating life force, and for clearing some of that negative energy.
And by the way, it's awesome.
Yes.
It truly is awesome.
So and then if you're with your family, you can create a ritual to say, okay, instead of, I know a lot of families pray.
They do.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
But I would be more specific. Prayer is a form of energy work anyway.
Yes, it is.
But you might say, okay, let's go around the table and to eliminate whatever's bothering you right now, and then blow it into the processor.
Right.
That's one way of getting everybody in a better mood.
Yeah.
You could if you have people in your household, which is common, that roll their eyes or say, "Oh,
Yeah.
oh, mom, oh, dad, I don't want to do that," that sort of thing. Just clear resistance.
Yeah.
Clear stubborn resistance.
Or embarrassing,
Or do it-
embarrassment that my parents are out there.
Yes. So you can do that, and you can do that in the kitchen. So if you know you're going to get a bad response,
Yes.
do it before you serve the meal,
Yes.
and then do that. There's all sorts of ways of doing this, and
Yes.
the people that you're with, it really makes a difference in how you eat your food. I see that people who are in relationships that aren't happy, that are dysfunctional, that are stressful,
True.
they struggle with food anyway.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what they eat. It doesn't matter because that negative energy is so bad
Yeah.
in that arena, that area, that there's not much they can do.
They're wearing it.
So
with that said,
let's do the summary and then
and
we'll
we'll tell
yeah.
everyone how to do the clearing.
Yes.
Okay.
The ecosystem approach is a way to add positive energy to your food. It can be used to remove the negative energy of toxics, chemicals, and additives, and any negative emotions that come from people who handle the food, like anger, hate, hopelessness, or depression.
Mhm.
To activate life force to your food, hold your hands over the food and say the words, and take a gentle breath and imagine that life force flowing into your food.
Yeah.
To remove the toxics from the food, say to eliminate, and wave your hands across the food like you're moving it out of the way. Activating positive energy with your food and clearing it can be a very effective way of improving how your body handles nutrition.
Correct. And so with that said, we're gonna, for those of you who don't know how to do the clearing, meaning removing negative energy, Jason's gonna tell you how to do that. And
So
we'll
so
take it from there.
you can sit, stand, your posture is not important. You can be laying down, you can be standing, you can be walking, you can doing all sorts of things. You can be cooking. You know,
Yes.
that's a great way of doing
I
it.
do it a lot when I'm cooking.
And so we say the words, I direct all my resources in all dimensions to eliminate. And when we say eliminate, in your mind's eye and your imagination, gather up all the emotions, the veils and illusions or barriers that we say to eliminate, and blow them into the processor. Sierra's putting a picture of the processor up there on the screen. And
Exactly.
it goes in the top, it gets processed, comes out neutral.
And then what we're going to do is we're going to activate life force, and we're going to do a little more life force today, so we can really help people add life force to their meal or their food, or even that candy bar that they're eating, and really have a way of enjoying and not being so stressed about oh, I did something wrong, or guilty, or feeling shame about that sort of thing. So with that said, stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to help you with clearing statements to understand the energy of your food and activate life force and eliminate the negative energy. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to help you with clearing statements to understand the energy of food and how to activate life force, and also how to eliminate the negative energy in food. So, Jason?
Here we go. I direct all my resources in all dimensions to eliminate the veils and illusions, so I can see that the energy of your environment and the energy of the food you eat can affect the nutrition and your body's ability to absorb that nutrition. Take a breath, take those veils and illusions and put them in the processor.
And I'm going to shorten it up, and to eliminate the veils and illusions, so I can see that I have the power to affect the energy of my food and the nutrition that I absorb. Nice and easy. Clear the veils and illusions and throw them away. You don't need those veils and illusions, Jason.
And to eliminate the stress, anxiety, and overwhelm in my life that can affect the nutrition of my meals.
Nice. Take a breath and throw it away. And to eliminate the veils and illusions, so I can see that using clearing and activating life force can increase the nutrition in my food. Take a breath, nice and easy.
And to eliminate the veils and illusions, so I can see that the moods and other people's emotion affect the nutrition that I'm able to absorb for a meal.
Yes. Take a breath. Now, we normally don't activate life force so early. We usually do a few more clearings, but we're going to do things a little bit different today.
Yes, we're going to do a little more life force, because we're going to it's going to be part of what you can take with you.
Correct.
So make sure you're signed up for that newsletter, the ecosystemapproach.org, so you can have this written out for you.
Exactly.
And use it for your next meal. So to activate life force, so this meal can be the healthiest for me as possible right now. I would do that for every meal, you know.
In, and then stop it at the tips of your toes and blow out any negative energy. But also, here's a place. Sorry, look at the camera. So this meal, the one that's underneath my hands, can be the healthiest for me as possible right now. Just like that. Jason, go ahead.
And to activate life force. So even though I'm rushed, which happens to all of us,
Yes.
I can get the maximum nutrition from this meal. So again, with your hands to activate life force.
And to get the maximum nutrition from this fast food meal or this food that I threw together really fast right here. And roll it out.
And to activate life force so my family can have harmony right now while we eat. You could do that in the bathroom. You could do that in the kitchen when everybody's out watching TV. Take a breath.
Okay. And is it the last one?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's number 10. Yeah.
Okay. And to activate life force so I can improve my health with the food I eat starting right now. One more time. Okay, Jason.
And to activate life force so I can have hope to have the best possible nutrition with all my meals using the ecosystem approach and the wording there. Take a breath.
Nice and easy. And to activate life force so I can trust that the energy I use can make the meal I'm eating even healthier. Nice and easy.
And to activate life force so I can decide that I will use energy for my meals and food prep and for the people who I eat with.
Yes.
From now on, take a breath.
Even if it's just me and the cat, it doesn't matter. Me and the dog, doesn't matter. Well, in my case, 2 dogs, yes. And then the last one, and to activate life force so I can see what I need nutritionally and then activate in the food that I'm eating right now to have that energy and those nutrients that I need so I can be happy and healthy and creative and heal myself with this food and heal my life and have fun and laughter and love and know that taking care of myself is one of the best things that I can do, not only for a good life today, but for a good life now and in the future. Nice and easy. Take a nice breath over the food and let that nice and easy go into that food. Jason, what are we going to talk about next week?
You know, I got this idea when we were doing the show about how life's an illusion.
Yes. Okay.
And there are a lot of ancient gurus that talk about the light and the dark and how that there's always going to be light and dark in the world and why it's there and that sort of thing. And I know that there's truth to that.
Yes, there is.
But we see that there's something that's here on Earth now that wasn't there before. When these agents were talking about it. And so we talk so much about negative energy, dark energy, bad energy.
Yeah.
So what is it really? Most people, they struggle with that. They want to know where does it come from? Why is there so much for me?
Yes.
And we're going to try and answer that in next week's show. I think it's going to be a fascinating show. I think it's going to be really a big deal because we're going to get into what we see about light and dark,
yes,
and what's really out there, and how we can overcome it. Because typically, I know that we have so many of our clients now are really advanced.
Yes, they are.
And for advanced clients, you really have to understand the light and the dark.
Yes, and you also have to be able, not only to understand it, but be able to recognize it. And if you come from a family like mine, I have to tell you, sometimes it's like hitting me in the head saying, oh my gosh, I didn't see that from that perspective.
Well, and yes, and your family is going to say,
What
you're
are you
nuts.
talking about?
Yeah, what are you talking about? I don't see that.
Well, they've done that a
You-
lot for me, but
yeah,
that's,
and well,
a,
and
a whole nother story.
that is sort of a metaphor for a lot of people who have
Yes,
been
it is. It
who've
is.
been the black sheep,
Yes,
and they're trying to overcome that with evolution,
yes.
and it's not, and they expect their family to come forward and say, "Oh, we see we see who you are
And by
now."
the way, usually they don't.
Yes.
So,
And they're part of the ones that are holding that
yes.
that
So,
idea there.
exactly.
So if you're excited about whether it's putting positive energy into your food,
Mhm.
finding ways to eat healthier,
Correct.
to do that on a regular basis, this is for you, the ecosystem approach. And so, what do you do?
Yeah.
What do you, if you want to take the next steps, what do you do? Well, first thing is go to our website,
Mhm.
theecosystemapproach.org, and sign up for our free section.
Correct.
Listen to our show every week. Every week we have clearings at the end. The more clearings that you do, it's cumulative.
Right.
You'll get more and more benefit from it. Go to our Facebook page, theecosystemapproach.org, and we have our videos posted there. Please like us while you're there. We'd appreciate that.
Right.
And this is, you'll start to feel it.
Yeah,
And this
too
is
much.
all free. There's no cost to all of this. The reason we do our weekly show is so people can start to get a perspective of how to use energy in their daily life.
Exactly. We'll connect next week, Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific and 4 p.m. Eastern Time. This is Transformation Talk Radio, and you're listening to the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia.
Remember, your ecosystem is the most important one in the world.
Thank you for listening to the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia. I'm Patricia. Tune in every week as we discuss practical ways to apply the ecosystem approach and develop your potential to live your life on your terms. For more information, visit our website at theecosystemapproach.org.